When we say Black Lives Matter, do we actually mean that only white perpetrators matter? Hi, my name is Ali Shuaga, and this is 10 Points to Ponder, where we like to talk about all the things that get you canceled: race, politics, Jesus, and manhood. Today, I want to talk about the prevailing media narrative and how, over especially the last month, that narrative has been thwarted. As it's been said, never let the truth get in the way of a good narrative. You want to know what the narrative has been? It's been that violent white supremacists are going around committing hate crimes because they've been stoked by President Trump and his rhetoric, and that is presenting an existential threat to every minority group, including specifically Asian Americans and Black people. What's the reality of it? Well, here's some things that have happened over the last couple of months. In August of 2020, in Denver, Colorado, 3 teenagers, 1 Asian, burned down a house, killing 5 members of a Senegalese family. March, Rochester, New York, 2 Black teenagers burglarize a disabled man's house and burn him to death. March, Boulder, Colorado, a Syrian-born gunman walks into a King Soopers and kills 10 people. March, New York City, a Black man approaches a 65-year-old Asian woman, kicks her in the stomach, and starts stomping on her in front of a hotel. Also in New York City, on the subway, a Black man puts an Asian man, or a man that appeared to be Asian, in a chokehold. March, again in Washington, D.C., 2 Black teenage girls kill a 66-year-old Pakistani. I think Pakistan is near India, so I guess that would be an anti-Asian crime. They kill a 66-year-old Pakistani immigrant as they're attempting to steal his car. April 2nd, just passed, in Washington, D.C. again, a Black follower of the Nation of Islam kills a Capitol Police officer by ramming a car through the barricade. And the question in all of these is, first of all, where's the outrage? And why is it that when you hear the media coverage, you don't hear an even-handed explanation of the race, for instance, of the actual perpetrators or the victims in the case? It seems that, again, it's not so much that Black Lives Matter, but it's white perpetrators matter, because that's what supports your narrative. The left has essentially woked itself into a racism that prefers one life over other lives. When you elevate one, you naturally are going to diminish the other. What's happened with this media narrative is that we've essentially legitimized evil depending on the race of the perpetrator or the race of the victim. So if the perpetrator is Black, oh, it's no big deal. We're not going to go out in the streets. We're not going to start task forces. We're not going to try to fix the problem. It's just, it's no big deal. That's just crime. That just happens. But when it's a white person, it's part of a systemic problem that's occurring. Same with the victim. This Senegalese family, they were all Black, and yet, for some reason, their deaths aren't mourned because they can't be used for the media narrative. This Pakistani driver, he was Asian, and yet no one mourns him. People aren't out in the streets. There's not people tweeting about stop anti-Asian hatred, because the perpetrators ended up being two black girls that were part of a string of carjackings that are going on right now in the Washington, D.C. area, which again is something that if we were thinking clearly and we had an even-handed approach towards justice, we would take seriously. The problem with the idea of hate crime is that you are now elevating one race over another. Let me put it this way. Is it any worse that I'm killed over my shoes, or what color I decide to wear, or the fact that I'm wearing a certain type of jewelry or driving a certain car? Is that better to be killed that way than to be killed because of my race? Then that means and essentially diminishes the fact that hatred is what leads to all murder. See, we're missing the biblical understanding that what happens, these murders, as Jesus said, they come from the heart. They come from the heart, and then they're manifested. Anytime that you have hatred towards another person, Jesus says that you've already committed murder in your heart towards that person, and you're guilty and you need to repent. And there aren't degrees when it comes to that. What we've done is essentially we've reduced hatred to skin color. The Atlanta shooting is evil because it's evil. It's not more evil because Asian people were killed. It's evil because it's evil. And as a society, we have created so much nuance that we've actually made some lives of more worth and more intrinsic value than others, when God says that we've all been created in the image of God. I'm going to leave you with these words from Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Woe to those who call good evil and evil good, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. This is what's going on in our society. We're saying that some deaths, some murders are okay, while other murders are reprehensible based on the race of the person that is being murdered and the race of the murderer. This is wrong, and it's going to have long-lasting effects. We're calling some murders okay, some murders simply a product of a lack of mental health resources, or something that we need more gun control. And some murders, because the perpetrator might be white, as indicative of a systemic problem of white supremacist violence. And one more proof that that narrative exists. Those are my thoughts. What do you think? Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. My name is Ali Schwaga, and this has been 10 Points to Ponder.